My girlfriend bragged about her anonymous blog with 10K readers where she mocked me as pathetic spreadsheet man. I just said impressive numbers. Weeks later, her boss Googled her pen name during her promotion review, and she was escorted out by security that I've been with Sophie, 29F, for just over 3 years. I'm 33M, work as a systems analyst for a logistics company. Decent hours, decent pay, nothing flashy. I've always been more low-key. Sophie, on the other hand, is sharp, smart, quick-witted, ambitious. Works in marketing at a mid-sized tech firm downtown. The kind of person who talks about personal brand in casual conversation and actually means it. When we met, I was charmed by her energy. She was magnetic, full of ideas. Our first date, she pulled out her notebook at the bar and sketched a mock ad campaign for the cocktail menu just for fun. I thought, here's someone whose brain never turns off. And for a long time, that was exciting. But excitement has a way of fraying at the edges. The small things started first. She'd take gentle digs at me when we were out with friends. Oh, he's the spreadsheet guy, lives in Excel like it's his little Lego set. He'd probably plan our wedding reception with pivot tables if I let him. Said with a laugh, said with charm, everyone chuckled. And I smiled too. But in the car ride home, something in me felt smaller. Or when I'd share something from work, like automating a report that saved the company 10 hours a week, she'd respond with, "That's cute." Not really something you can put on a billboard, though. Not cruel, not overt, just constant minimizing. Last winter, we moved in together. My lease was up, and her apartment was bigger, closer to her office. It made financial sense. But as soon as I unpacked, it felt less like home and more like I was a guest in her curated space. My books stacked in one corner of the living room, my coffee mugs banished to the back of the cabinet because they clashed with her aesthetic. I tried not to make it a fight. She had stronger opinions about decor, and honestly, I didn't care about wall colors or throw pillows. But I started to notice the imbalance in everything. She led. I followed. She spoke. I listened. The reveal came out of nowhere. We were having dinner at home. Salmon she'd ordered pre-marinated from some subscription service, wine she liked. She was on her second glass, a little flushed, talking about how her department was considering her for a senior position. Then, with a grin that was both proud and sly, she said, "You'll find this hilarious. I've been writing this anonymous blog about you. About us. Mostly about you, honestly." I blinked. A blog? Yeah, sort of like documenting our relationship, but from a satirical angle. I exaggerate your quirks, your routines, your whole spreadsheet brain vibe. It's comedy. People love it. I'm at 10,000 regular readers now. I put my fork down. You're writing about me? By name. She laughed. Of course not by name. It's all anonymized. Pen name, no photos. Just stories. Like how you'll spend an hour researching toaster reviews, or how you keep a drawer full of cables, just in case. The audience eats it up. They think you're this archetype of the boring, dependable boyfriend. It's my niche. I felt my stomach twist. So, 10,000 strangers read about how pathetic I am. She grinned wider. Pathetic in a funny way. You should be flattered. You're the muse. Not everyone inspires art. I just stared at her. Her smile faltered for half a second. Then she shrugged, sipping her wine. Relax. It's harmless. Nobody knows it's you. And honestly, it's part of why I'm on track for promotion. I've been showing my boss how I built an audience. Content marketing, personal branding, all of it. It proves I know how to engage people. And then she laughed again, a sharp little laugh. You should have seen the comments last week. I wrote about your obsession with labeling leftovers, and someone said you sound like a parody character from The Office. 10,000 readers think you're comedy gold. My face must have been blank. Because she leaned across the table, touched my hand, and said, "Don't sulk. Impressive numbers, though, right?" I said, very calmly, "Impressive numbers." And that was it. I didn't argue. I didn't demand she delete it. I didn't yell. I just noted every word, every detail. That night, lying awake next to her, I couldn't stop imagining the blog. Every private moment reframed for laughs. Every quirk exaggerated into ridicule. Strangers dissecting me as content. I got up quietly, opened my laptop, and started searching. It wasn't hard. She'd left enough breadcrumbs. Same writing style she used in her college essays I'd once proofread. Same way she structured punchlines. Within an hour, I was scrolling through months of posts. Hundreds of comments. Readers egging her on. calling me spreadsheet man, saying they'd die if they had to live with someone like him. And Sophie, replying in the comments under her pen name, doubling down. Trust me, he really is that hopeless. I closed the laptop at 3 a.m. My chest felt like it was collapsing. But beneath the hurt, something else flickered. Calculation. Because if she'd been bragging about this to her boss as proof of her marketing skill, then her anonymity wasn't as airtight as she believed. And anonymity is fragile. A few weeks passed. Outwardly, nothing changed between us. We still shared dinners. She still curled up next to me on the couch, still scrolled through her phone while I read. If anything, she was lighter, almost smug, as though sharing her secret success had brought her closer to me. Inside, though, something had shifted. I no longer saw our conversations at face value. Every word, every gesture, I pictured reframed as content for her readers. Did she blog about my morning routine? My grocery lists? The way I say thanks to the delivery guy? I started living like an unwilling character in someone else's sitcom. But I didn't confront her again. I just waited. 2 weeks later, Sophie was buzzing with anticipation. Her promotion review was coming up. She'd been dropping hints for months. A senior position, bigger clients, higher pay. She wanted me to know she was on the brink of something. The night before the review, she rehearsed her talking points at the dinner table. I'm going to emphasize my ability to build an audience organically, she said between bites of pasta. 10,000 regulars, engagement rates through the roof. My boss is obsessed with measurable traction. I nodded, pushing food around my plate. Impressive numbers. She smiled, misreading my calmness as admiration. The day of her review, I came home to an unfamiliar stillness. Normally, Sophie got back around 6:30 and filled the apartment with her voice before she even dropped her bag. That night, I found her already there, curled on the couch in sweatpants, staring at the blank TV screen. Her eyes were red. What happened? I asked. She turned slowly, like moving underwater. They Googled me. I sat down across from her. Who? My boss. During the review, she typed my pen name into the search bar right there in the conference room. She said she wanted to see the traction in real time. A pause. And she found it. She found everything. The posts, the comments, the way I call you pathetic, boring, spreadsheet man. She read some out loud in front of HR. She asked if this was really my idea of professionalism, mocking my live-in partner as content. She said it raised questions about my judgment, my respect for privacy, my ethics. Her voice cracked. Then she ended the review. Just ended it. Security walked me out. Like I was some kind of liability. She buried her face in her hands. They said I'll hear from HR about next steps. That's code for termination. God, I ruined everything. I leaned back in my chair, letting the silence stretch. Inside, I felt a swirl of things. Anger, yes, but also a grim sense of inevitability. She'd treated other people's lives as raw material for her own ambition. Eventually, that was going to catch up to her. 10,000 readers, I said evenly. And all it took was one Google search. Her head snapped up, eyes wide, as if only then realizing that the thing she'd flaunted as her triumph was the same thing that destroyed her. You knew, didn't you? She whispered. I knew enough, I said. Enough to let you keep bragging. Enough to let the truth surface on its own. That night was the first time she didn't try to spin it, didn't try to charm or downplay. She just sat there, shaking, muttering half-coherent phrases, stupid, careless. I thought it was harmless. I wanted to feel triumphant. I wanted to feel vindicated. But all I felt was tired. Because in the end, it wasn't about her losing her job. It was about realizing how little she'd valued me, that I'd been reduced to punchlines for strangers, and she called it love. Over the next week, the fallout was swift. HR sent her a formal notice. Termination due to conduct unbecoming and reputational risk. She tried appealing, but there was no case. Screenshots of her posts were already circulating within the company's Slack. Someone must have saved them during the review. By Friday, she was locked out of her company accounts. She spent days pacing the apartment, calling friends, crying, cursing. It was anonymous, she kept saying. Nobody was supposed to know it was me. But anonymity is fragile. All it takes is a few breadcrumbs, a writing style, a slip of ego. Meanwhile, I kept my routines. Work, gym, cooking. I didn't gloat. I didn't comfort. I just let her sit in the silence she'd created. The final straw came one night when she turned to me. eyes swollen from crying, and said, "You could have defended me. You could have told them I didn't mean it. You could have helped." I looked at her, calm and steady, and replied, "Sophie, for years I defended you to myself. I told myself your jokes were harmless, that the digs weren't malicious, that your ambition justified the way you dismissed me. But when you turned me into a caricature for 10,000 strangers, you stopped being someone I could defend." Her face crumpled. She didn't reply. A week later, I packed a bag and moved out. I didn't slam doors or deliver final speeches. I left her the apartment. Most of the furniture was hers anyway. I took my books, my clothes, my coffee mugs that clashed with her aesthetic. On the kitchen counter, I left a single note. Impressive numbers. Not impressive respect. Goodbye. And that was it. Update 1. It's been about 4 months since I moved out. A few people messaged me asking how things turned out, so here it is. The short version: I'm fine. Sophie is not. And yet, I don't feel the satisfaction some of you might expect. After I left, Sophie spiraled. I only know this because mutual friends kept me updated, sometimes without me asking. Apparently, she tried to revive the blog, but the readers weren't as kind once they realized the consequences it had for her. What used to be hilarious satire about her boring boyfriend now looked like cruelty. Some comments I saw: "Yes, I peaked once, against my better judgment. Yikes, this is just mean. No wonder your partner left. You seriously got fired over this? Totally not worth it." The blog that once fed her ego became a graveyard of strangers reminding her she'd tanked her own career. She shut it down soon after. Professionally, she's radioactive. Marketing circles in this city aren't huge. Word spreads. The girl who mocked her boyfriend for clicks and got escorted out by security became a cautionary tale. She's been doing freelance gigs here and there, but nothing steady. Personally, her friends are split. Some still defend her, saying she was just being honest and that he should have had thicker skin. Others quietly drifted away, realizing if she could mock her partner so casually, what stopped her from turning on them? Last I heard, she moved out of the apartment. Too expensive without her salary. As for me, the first month after leaving, I lived with my brother. We shared takeout, watched bad movies, drank beers on the balcony. He didn't press me for details, just let me exist. That space to breathe was exactly what I needed. Then I found my own place. Small, modest, but mine. My books line the living room, my mismatched mugs sit proudly in the cabinet, my drawer of random cables has its rightful spot by the desk. For the first time in years, I don't feel like I'm living inside someone else's curated aesthetic. I didn't realize how much of myself I'd shrunk down to fit inside her world until I unpacked into a space that was fully my own. Emotionally, though, it's complicated. I thought I'd feel triumphant when the truth came out, when her arrogance finally caught up with her. But what I mostly feel is hollow. Because the victory wasn't about me winning. It was just her losing. And watching someone you once loved self-destruct is not satisfying. It's tragic. Yes, she humiliated me. Yes, she turned me into content for strangers. But she's not a monster. She's just someone so consumed by ambition and ego that she forgot people aren't props. And now she's paying for it. In ways that will follow her for years. Do I hate her? No. I don't even think I'm angry anymore. I'm just done. Done excusing her digs. Done shrinking myself. Done mistaking cruelty for wit. When I think about her now, it's like remembering an old colleague from a past job. Someone you spent hours with every day, but once you left, you realized you didn't actually like them. Friends keep asking if I'm dating again. Not seriously. I've gone on a few casual coffee dates, nothing more. Honestly, right now, I enjoy the quiet. Enjoy cooking for myself, reading at night, without worrying if I'll be turned into a punchline the next morning. One unexpected side effect: I journal now. Just for me. I realized how dangerous it felt to be narrated by someone else, so I took back that control. Every night, I write a page or two. Thoughts, frustrations, little victories. No audience, no numbers, no strangers dissecting me. Just words that stay mine. The strangest moment came about a month ago. I bumped into Sophie at the grocery store. She looked thinner, hair messier, no trace of the polished persona she used to wear like armor. She froze when she saw me, then forced a smile. We exchanged small talk. She said she was finding her footing. I nodded. Then she said something that stuck with me. I thought the blog made me powerful. But really, it just showed how powerless I felt. Then she walked away, And I stood there in the frozen foods aisle, replaying that sentence. Because maybe she wasn't just mocking me. Maybe mocking me was how she coped with her own insecurities. Maybe making me pathetic online made her feel less small in her own life. It doesn't excuse anything, but it reframes it. So where am I now? Working steadily. My boss offered me a new project, and for once, I didn't downplay my excitement. I let myself feel proud. Cooking more. I make a mean mushroom risotto now. My brother still comes by for dinner once a week. And slowly, I'm rebuilding trust in people. Not by jumping into a new relationship, but by reminding myself that not everyone sees intimacy as content. Some people still see it as sacred. I'm not there yet, fully healed, but I'm on my way. If there's a lesson in all of this, it's this. Sometimes the worst betrayal isn't the one that blows up dramatically. Sometimes it's the slow erosion of being turned into a joke, one harmless dig at a time. By the time you realize how much of yourself you've lost, you're already drowning. Getting out wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming my voice, my story, my life. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like it actually belongs to me. Final update. It's been just over a year since everything went down. I wasn't planning to post again, but a friend of mine said something recently that brought the whole story back to the surface. You know what your superpower is now? You don't flinch at other people's bullshit anymore. And he's right. The year has been transformative in ways I didn't see coming. First, Sophie. I haven't been in contact with her since that run-in at the grocery store. Mutual friends tell me she's still freelancing, scraping by, moving from short-term contracts to side projects. The marketing industry here is small, and her reputation still lingers. She hasn't landed a stable job since. I heard she tried pivoting into lifestyle content, Instagram posts about starting over, finding resilience, that kind of thing. It didn't take. People can smell inauthenticity. And for better or worse, she's associated with her blog scandal now. That's her brand, whether she likes it or not. I don't take joy in this. I don't sit here rubbing my hands together at her struggles. If anything, I feel detached. What happens to her isn't my story anymore. But every so often, I remember the look on her face when she realized her boss had pulled up her blog. That split-second collapse, the panic underneath her smirk. And I think, that was the moment her mirror cracked. As for me, life is quieter. Better. I moved into a slightly bigger apartment, one with a balcony where I've started growing herbs. Basil, rosemary, thyme. My younger self would laugh at how much joy I get from watering plants in the morning. But there's something grounding about nurturing things that don't demand or ridicule, that just grow. Work is steady. My team respects me. I even got a small promotion myself. Nothing flashy, but recognition for the systems I've built. The same boring spreadsheet brains Sophie mocked? It's the reason my department runs smoother now. Turns out reliability has value, even if it doesn't trend online. The strangest shift, though, has been internal. When someone treats you like a punchline long enough, you start questioning your worth. You wonder if maybe you really are dull, pathetic, forgettable. For months after I left Sophie, I'd catch myself hesitating before sharing ideas at work or stories with friends, like I was bracing for laughter. But over time, as people listened without mocking, that reflex softened. I realized Sophie's cruelty wasn't universal. It was specific. It was hers. That realization was liberating. I did date again. Slowly. Nothing serious at first. Just coffee, walks, dinners, testing the waters. And then, unexpectedly, I met someone. Her name's Emily. She's nothing like Sophie. Not flashy, not obsessed with aesthetics or personal brand. She's a teacher. Patient, steady, with a laugh that fills a room. On our third date, I told her about the blog. I figured honesty early was better than some ugly surprise later. She listened quietly, then said, "That must have been awful. I promise, I'd never turn you into content." And then she smiled. "But I might brag about your risotto to my friends." That was the first time I laughed about it, genuinely laughed. Because it reframed the whole thing. Being talked about isn't the issue. It's how you're talked about. Love is supposed to build, not erode. We're still seeing each other. No rush, no grand declarations. Just something real. The last piece of this story came a month ago. I was at a conference for work, grabbing coffee in the hotel lobby. And there she was, Sophie. She looked different. Older somehow. Not physically. She still looked like herself. But the edge, the shine, the curated brand aura was gone. She wore plain clothes, no heavy makeup, just tired eyes. She saw me before I saw her. For a moment, I considered turning away. But she walked up. "Hey," she said softly. We made small talk. Polite, distant. Then she asked, "Are you happy?" And I realized the answer was yes. Not perfectly, not every day, but fundamentally, yes. "I am," I told her. She nodded, looked down at her coffee. "That's good. You deserve it." A pause. Then, almost to herself, she added, "I thought I was being clever. I thought I was building something. But all I built was a cage." And then she excused herself, and that was the last I saw of her. Walking back to my room, I felt a surprising calm. No bitterness, no anger, not even pity. Just closure. Because here's the truth. Revenge, karma, all those words we throw around, they're never as satisfying as we think. Sophie's downfall didn't heal me. My healing came from the slow, unglamorous work of reclaiming myself. From cooking dinners in my own kitchen, from writing in my journal, from growing basil on a balcony, from learning that my worth isn't defined by how entertaining I am to strangers online. Her story is hers now. Mine is mine, and they no longer overlap. If you're reading this and you've ever been made to feel small by someone you love, mocked, minimized, turned into a caricature, here's what I want you to know. You are not their story. You are your own. And the day you stop living as someone else's punchline is the day you start living at all. That's the real ending.